I'm Barbara Shaw, and I thought you might like to see my book of photos of how it all began. This is my textile journey, so I'll take you through what I've got in here because it will be at the exhibition, but for those who can't come, you'll get an idea of how I started. I started by doing patchwork, and this was one of the first quilts I made. It's inspired by calf facet, and it combined lots of different scraps of all sorts of colours and patterns, which then looked coherent. And I'd never come across anything like that before. Then I experimented with painting onto fabric, just with pen and ink and fabric paint, on stripy fabric to see what would happen. And here I've added some words to my little landscapes. Then you can see that I developed by actually showing a person wearing clothes. So this was my first go at actually creating something, and you can see that I've obviously used glue, and this one, where I didn't know about shading and shaping, I've added some cotton wool to her bottom to make it shaped there. Then I got a bit more ambitious and I won a prize for creating, this is a red kite over a landscape. So that was 2002. Then I carried on experimenting, and I didn't know about actually working straight onto fabric. So these are cut out kites, again onto fabric, and I learned about crisscrossing fabrics to make landscapes. This bottom one is just pen and ink. Then here I am experimenting with different ribbons and creating landscape, again where they're stuck down rather than stitched. So this was a bit more interesting, doing the lavender fields with the same technique and different fabrics. And here I've actually started stitching. So these are first pieces straight where I've stitched straight onto the fabric, and here I've added some fabric paint as well. And this was the first time that I exhibited. It's 2004, and that was Bucks Open Studios. So again, you can see the early work in the background there. And here again, that's showing people how I actually work with the different fabrics that I've used. And here I'm adding paint. So this is paint, it's a cutout figure there, but it's still moving on with the fabric, and here I've added more fabric. So that one was more fabric but paint with it as well. And these two are stitched. Then I actually learnt how to stitch straight onto fabric by experimenting. So these were early works after visiting an organic farm, and I was really inspired to create those. And here again, more early works. Then I made cards showing different patterns that I've created. These were much bigger. These were A1 size, again with paint on as well to bring them up. And then I worked on doing nudes. So every artist has to have a go at doing figures. So these were early works, using a lot of organzas to actually shape and shade the figures. But again, they were stuck. So here's some portraits, early portraits, which I stitched. Then I was artist in residence at a National Trust property. So that inspired me to create quite different subjects. And this 17th century chair, I won a prize for that, and that's now included in a museum's exhibition, or well, their collections. And here's more, these are family members, but this one was a commission. This one was for a project that was included in the Houses of Parliament. It's a baby in a womb, as is this one. And that's as far as I've got in actually showing how I've developed.